Today's episode is a bit different, as we have our first discussion with a Vietnam-era Gold Star family member. As time has passed, some of these stories start to fade, and that's exactly what Gold Star Stories is here to prevent. Today, I want to help Scott tell the story of his big brother, Corporal Thomas Stephen Hickman, and make sure his name remains a name spoken out loud. Before we begin, a quick note about the visuals you'll see in this episode. There were few original photos available of the Hickman family, and many that did survive were in rough shape. The recreated images shown here were made with the assistance of AI. They're used to help tell this story, not to replace their actual likeness.
Marine Captain Brian Latendry died earlier this month in an explosion in Iraq. He was 27, a husband and father, and he was buried in Arlington National Cemetery, a few miles from where he grew up. As America observes Memorial Day,
I have been directed by the President of the United States and the Commandant of the Marine Corps to inform you that today at 0530, your son was killed in action while in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Not very many of us can accomplish our goals or our dreams, and he always knew where he wanted to go, and he did it.
A Gold Star family is one who has lost a loved one serving in the United States military. It's a distinction no family ever seeks, a bond shared through sacrifice, remembrance, and profound loss. I'm Nick Latendry, and I've been a Gold Star sibling for over 18 years. In those 18 years, I've learned that while ceremonies fade, medals are stored away, and life continues, the story doesn't end for the families left behind. This podcast is dedicated to remembering those who gave everything for their country and to telling the lesser-known stories, the quiet, powerful journeys of grief, strength, resilience, and hope that follows after the flags are folded and the crowds disperse. These are Gold Star Stories. Thomas Stephen Hickman was born on August 1st, 1951, and grew up in Loogootee, Indiana. His family called him Steve. His friends called him Tom. He had two sisters and a younger brother, Scott, who was 10 years younger.
We called him Steve. His friends called him Tom. We got along great. I was just a little kid. You know how older brothers are with their little brothers. We got along fine. It was a different time back then. There was a lot of turmoil in the 60s. Like there are now going.
Steve finished high school and joined the U.S. Army in the late 1960s. He wasn't drafted. He volunteered. He completed basic training at Fort Knox, Kentucky, then went to Germany. While stationed there, he volunteered to go to Vietnam.
In order to get some time to come back home, if he volunteered to go to Vietnam, he got some time to come back, which I can't remember how long it was. Maybe been 2 weeks or something like that. But he wanted to go over there, so the incentive of him getting time just helped him pushing that much more to go. So I remember him coming back, and we lived in a little house, and my dad made a bedroom type thing up in the attic. And when he kept back, he wouldn't show us his paperwork because we didn't know anything about it. And then I think my older sister cut into his clothes in the paperwork, and that's how we found out he was going to Vietnam. So after we found it, then he told us. But like I said, that's what he wanted to do.
The decision was hard on the family, especially his mother.
She really didn't handle it well at all. Myself, I was 9 years old. So I don't think I understood the scope of it. My older sister did. My dad, he backed him. That's what you want to do. But my mom, it really broke her heart to see him go over there.
1970, Private First Class Thomas Stephen Hickman arrived in Vietnam. Not long after arriving, he was wounded by shrapnel.
He wasn't there very long. He got injured, had some shrapnel in his legs or in his back or maybe both. But he healed up and he wanted to go right back out in the field. He didn't want to come back to the States. He wanted to go back with what he called his brothers.
He recovered in country and returned to duty with his unit instead of rotating home. He was awarded a Purple Heart for those wounds. On August 26, 1970, Corporal Hickman was one of 31 servicemen aboard a CH-47B Chinook helicopter, tail number 67-18445, near Landing Zone Judy in Quang Tin Province, South Vietnam. The aircraft was conducting a resupply operation when it crashed just short of the landing zone. Reports differ on the cause. Some cite enemy fire, others a collision with trees during approach. All 31 soldiers aboard were killed. The crash was one of the deadliest single helicopter incidents of the Vietnam War. Back home in Indiana, Scott was playing baseball when the notification officers arrived.
We must have been there out of school, or it was a weekend, because I was playing baseball in the neighbor's field. And I come back, and we had a swing set in the backyard, and my older sister was on it. I was getting ready to go in the house, and she said, well, don't go in there. I asked her why, and she said, well, chaplain and staff sergeant, they were there. Dad was at work. So I think Mom had to call Dad at work, and he had to come home.
For several days, the family hoped he might still be alive.
He was missing in action for a few days until they declared him dead. I think the only survivor was the pilot.
Scott's mother saw a national news broadcast showing a downed helicopter. Mother's instinct confirmed what the official word would soon deliver.
I don't know if Walter Cronkite, it was one of the big name newscasters. It was on national news, and I remember sitting there, and Mom saw that the copter had been shot down, and I remember her telling Dad, she said, well, Steve was on that helicopter, and she had no idea that he was. But like I said, I guess that was Mother's intuition, because she was correct.
Scott was 9 years old when his brother was killed. The loss deeply affected the entire family.
It tore us apart. My dad handled it a certain way. My mom, she wound up having a nervous breakdown, and then things even deteriorated from that. I don't want to go into too much detail on it, but it wasn't good. My little sister don't remember much about my brother, but then my little sister does remember about my mom, which that's all tied together. So it was a bad deal. It was a bad deal all the way around.
At that time, there was almost no formal support for families who lost someone in Vietnam. Even counseling carried a stigma. It would take decades before Scott could talk about what happened.
Years ago, I wouldn't even thought about having a discussion about it. But last few years, I've kind of opened up some about it.
In recent years, he's become active in his local American Legion in Loogootee, where many members are Vietnam veterans. He also visits the traveling Vietnam Wall when it's nearby to find his brother's name, Panel 7W, Line 11. In the 1990s, Scott and his father attended a dedication in Indianapolis, a memorial event for Gold Star families. It was the first time Scott realized how many others shared his experience.
That's basically when, I kind of realized that, hey, there's a lot of other people out there that's been through similar situations. And there's people to talk to if you want to, but it's a little bit relieving to get out and see that you're not in this by yourself. There's other people out there. And if you need to talk, there's people to talk to.
Today, Scott still honors his brother's memory at home. On his mantle is a photograph of Steve, surrounded by his medals, including 2 Purple Hearts, a combat infantryman badge, and an Army Commendation Medal. Corporal Thomas Stephen Hickman, born August 1st, 1951, served in the United States Army and was killed in action on August 26, 1970, in Quang Tin Province, South Vietnam. He was 19 years old. His younger brother Scott was 9. More than 50 years later, Scott is still keeping his brother's name alive, making sure his story and the families, like his, are never forgotten. To Steve, for your service and sacrifice. To Scott, for keeping his memory alive. Say their name, Corporal Thomas Stephen Hickman. And to every Gold Star family from the Vietnam era who carried their loss without support, We remember you. A special thank you to our Gold Star Story supporters, Terry Mullins, Danielle Metal, Jackie Mullins, June Latindry, Bob and Pat Scott, Mary Jo Stoy, Jess Miller, Aaron Peck, Georgia Franco, Nate Latindry, Edie Howard. If you believe in this mission to honor, record, and remember, visit goldstarStoriesUSA.com. Your tax-deductible donation through Veterans Collaborative helps us keep the mic on for families like Scott's. Until next time, look after your people.